Hey. So, I've been trying not to go on here. Trying not to do a video, but it's not going to happen. I keep getting the message. So, I wanted to convey a message, I guess. Well, through me. Anyway, I know I've been posting a lot about shadow work, and part of the reason for that is that it keeps coming up for me right now. It's nothing new to me. I've been doing it for a couple years now, on and off. It's not really something that you can just do constantly. You kind of need to take a break and readjust and then come back to it. But anyway, what keeps coming up is that shadow work, and the term of it, right, is actually coined by Carl Jung, but it's not shadow. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's actually, so if we think about it this way, we come into this world whole, complete. Not everybody agrees with this, but in my understanding, this is the way it works. We come into this world, we are whole, complete beings, and we come in under a veil of illusion, of amnesia, that we need to be taught and that we need to be told how to behave and how to act in society, which that's part of what this human experiment is about living in society and being social. But the parts of us, the personality aspects and the parts of us and the desires, those are kind of innate. So we do have personalities. And so we come in and we're told by our caregivers or by our communities, if we happen to be, religious, or our neighbors or whoever it is, your teachers, right? That how you're acting is not okay. You need to stop. So we, coming in not knowing that we are already whole, go, okay, well, I'm just not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to entertain that. I'm not going to do that. So you push it out, try to sweep it under the rug because you want to be part of a community, because you want to be accepted. Not only do you want to be accepted, in a lot of cases, you actually need to be accepted to survive. This is all the basic premise for doing shadow work, right? And why we actually change ourselves up until the time we are 8 years old, that a lot of this programming is done to us. Well, we do it to ourselves based on our situations. Right? We could, and some people do come in fully awake, not very often. And they're like, no, I'm not doing that. Right? They are fully embodied from the minute they come in. Most of us are not like that. Most of us are here for the entire human experience, which means you are going to be programmed. And you are coming in under amnesia and into a whole illusion. The whole thing is an illusion. But then you end up relegating half of yourself. Maybe it's not quite half, depending on your childhood experiences and your wounding, right? Because everybody has wounding, no matter what your upbringing was. And so to get in a pissing match about whose wounding is worse, it doesn't even matter. Right? We all have wounding. That's what we're here working through. And so you have this wounding and you relegate these parts of yourself. Whether it be like for girls, right? We tend to be told you're too emotional. Right? Don't get angry. Don't do that here. Right? We make people uncomfortable when we get emotional or when we cry in front of them. And so we learn how to stamp that out. Don't be emotional. Don't make other people feel uncomfortable. To be accepted, I need to do those things. I need to not make other people uncomfortable. I need to please other people in order for me to, when I was young, survive, to be accepted, to be part of the group, to belong. And so a lot of us, and that's just one example, right? I mean, there's so many examples. And as you go on this journey of rediscovering yourself, who you really are, everything that you believed changes or has the potential to change. You might go back to a middle of the road way of thinking about things, but you realize, oh my gosh, like for me, my abusive ex-husband actually was trying to do me a favor. He didn't know. It was all unconscious. But there's no reason for me to be upset or to hold any grudge or to hold any anger even, because I see that that was like me. I needed a push to see my worth, and that did it. Until the next relationship that came along that looked a little different, and it actually was worse in some ways. Physical abuse, which in other ways was actually easier, because for me, physical abuse, I mean, one would say after one time, well, that's not how it worked for me. That's what I said. 3 times and 3 strikes and you're out, dude. But what's interesting is that it was what I was doing. It was me and the interaction between him and I, and all of the things that I did in that relationship. I found myself lying over the stupidest shit. And when I say like one time we were supposed to, I don't know, get together at like 2 or something. And I have very little alone time. You know, my kids are here with me most of the time. But that day, I think we had just a loose thing as, yeah, when my kids leave, I'll see you then. And so I wanted to have schedule an appointment with a girlfriend who does body work. And so anyway, I scheduled an appointment with her at like 1, and then I was like, yeah, no, I can't. I let him know. I said, you know, I can't meet you until like 4. And he got mad. And so I lied. Fuck that. I'm not doing that anymore. But do you see what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay. So now I'm looking at all of these things that I did, and it's like that. It's like, okay, why couldn't I just tell him? Well, it was because I was triggered and I was acting out, and it was like being a 2-year-old. I don't want to do, you know, it's like, no, just stand up. You owe nobody an explanation. And as I started on that relationship was all about that. Learning that no, it is totally acceptable to have alone time. And I started to see that that was his. You know, you start to see, well, wow, this is mine, and that's his. And I was like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore, because there was too much of a burden of the amount of work. And don't get me wrong, I did a lot of work in that relationship on myself, and tons afterwards, because it ended in physical violence, and I finally had to call the police. And I was like, it's over. I'll never see him again. I can't trust, you know. And what's really weird, and I know I've said this before, you know, we think as humans in black and white, but let me tell you, I have been through it, right? I know that I love this guy because I see right to the soul of him, but I will never be with him again in this life because I can't trust him. I still am like, yeah, anybody that would physically hurt me, I couldn't take the chance. I have too much to live for, and that was part of the lesson from that whole thing. But to get to the point which was really over this last weekend, of being like, you know what? I love that guy. And I got to the point of such deep gratitude for the role that he played in my life to get me to wake the fuck up and to look at myself and to be like, okay, you don't deserve this treatment. You aren't perfect, and it's okay that you're not perfect. You still don't deserve that treatment. Right? Because a lot of what, you know, he's like, well, you're not perfect. No, I never claimed to be perfect. I'm not perfect. Especially, you know, being with him, I was still getting through some of the PTSD and still diving into, like, the trauma parts. And the trauma parts for me, they started in childhood, but then they kept going. And so I had a lot of work to do around those. But so most of those shadow aspects are actually ingrained before the age of 8. And you push them down and push them away and like, no, that's not me. I don't lie. I don't cheat. I don't steal. I'm not obsessed with power and control. I'm not arrogant and obsessed with how I look. The shallower aspects, right? I'm not obsessed with any of that. There's all of these different things that have to do with shadow work.
Hi, Mom.
That are really important. So I wanted to share that and let you know that these shadow aspects, they're not what you think they are. They're actually strengths. When you give them some attention and they calm their ass down. Calm down, Nellie. When they calm down, then you can actually harness the other side of whatever that is that you push down is powerful. It is powerful, and it is wisdom, and it is beautiful, and it makes you whole, which is the whole point of all of this. Anyway, there's my little 2 bits. My little 2 bits. 2 bits in 12 minutes. I'll be back. For some reason this just keeps coming up, and I know because I was there and I did not see for a long time my own blind spots, and we all have them. We all have blind spots. And even Maddie, 8 years old. So right, think about that. She's just finalizing all of her beliefs and finalizing the things that she doesn't think are good in herself at this age now. Anyway, I will be back. Part one of me rambling about shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
Love you guys.
Love you.